What's good, guys? In this video, I want to show you how you can record a completely dry guitar tone without any effects or amp models using an HX Stomp. Profound, right? I know, this could be like the shortest video I've ever made. Just turn everything on and you're done. But think about this. You've just recorded a perfect take. You recorded an entire song flawlessly. You played every note just right. But the effects that you used aren't right. Like maybe the delay just wasn't really synced up properly. There's too much reverb. You want to turn down the distortion. But because all those effects are imprinted on your file, you can't change them. But if you're using an HX Stomp, you can use a technique called reamping. This is where you record a dry guitar track and then you feed that dry guitar track back into the Stomp. And so anytime you change up your effects or settings, you can just re-record a new track. But recording a dry guitar is like kind of the worst thing ever because it's super quiet, you can hardly hear it, and it just doesn't feel right. So it's really nice if there's a way that you can have like a basic preset that you can listen to just during the recording process while simultaneously recording another track of just your dry guitar that you can process later. Fortunately, the HX Stomp lets us do all of this, and so in this video, I want to show you how it's done. So let's do it. Okay, this is only going to work if you have your Stomp connected to your computer with a USB cable, so make sure to do that. Then come over to your computer and open up your DAW or DAW or whatever, and in your preferences or settings, find where it has the audio inputs. For the input device, do HX Stomp. Then for output device, do HX Stomp as well. You're going to need to monitor through the headphone jack on the Stomp for this to work. Go to input configuration or input ports or something, whatever it says, inputs. Make sure that inputs 1 and 2 are on for mono and stereo, and also inputs 5 and 6. And then in your output ports, do the same thing, 1 and 2 and 5 and 6. I'm using Ableton Live. It's probably gonna be different for you depending on what DAW you're using. So find something that's close. Once we have that set up, we're gonna need to use 2 audio tracks. For the first one, this one will be our dry guitar track. So for inputs, this one is gonna come from inputs 5 and 6. Now, if you're just gonna do a mono recording, you can just select 5. If you're doing like a stereo for some reason, just do, you can do 5/6. I'm just gonna do 5. I'm gonna enable this one for recording. I'm gonna turn off monitoring though. And then in my second guitar track, this is gonna be the one that has some effects on it. And I do wanna record this though too, because when I go back and I review the track to make sure it's a good take, I still don't want to hear just the dry guitar. I would prefer to hear a track that has some effects on it. So I'm going to record both of these. So I'll enable this, and for this, let's take it from just mono track 1. Again, if you were doing something in stereo, you could do 1/2, so you get both. But I'm just gonna stick with 1, and also I'm gonna turn off monitoring. If I have my headphones connected to the Stomp, I'll be able to hear that preset. Then all I have to do is hit record and record something. So at this point, what I would do is I would just refer to this reference track just to make sure it was a good take. And then once I get a good preset made on the Stomp that I want to use for a final recording, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to change these settings so that my program is going to send that audio to the Stomp to reamp it. I need to change the input setting on my Stomp. Now, I don't have my camera tripod set up over here because it's kind of obnoxious, so I'm just going to edit in a close-up clip of this. So here's my random hand. But I'm just going to scroll over to the input, and using the bottom knob, I'm just going to scroll until I get input USB 5/6. This is going to allow the Stomp to receive that signal from the DAW. Then I'm going to go to my dry guitar track for the output. I'm going to make sure that it's an external out, and I'm going to select either 5/6 if I want to send a stereo input, or I'm just gonna select 5 because I'm just sending a mono. And then, so then this is gonna be sent to the Stomp. And then I'm gonna open up a new track. Just ignore these ones for now. And for this, then I need to receive the audio back from the Stomp. So I'm gonna say, just receive from 1. If I wanted to receive stereo, I would do 1/2. I'm gonna enable that one for recording. And I'm gonna solo my dry track, and I'm not gonna monitor any of them. And let's just see what happens if I hit record. So what just happened there? My dry guitar track was fed from my DAW back into the Stomp. It ran through my signal chain and then was fed back to the DAW and recorded here. So if I wanted to make any other changes, I could do so, and then I could re-record and I would get those changes recorded right here. So kind of a cool trick. If you found this video helpful and you think reamping is a cool way to record, hit that like button. And if you don't like reamping, hit the like button anyways, and subscribe while you're at it.